All right, what's going on, you guys? Coach Jeezy here with Reno, and we're going to be talking about some important stuff. Reno, I'm just going to let you go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the EMF sensitivity, how it all started, your job, and all of that.
Yeah, all right. So I'm Rhino, as I like to
Right,
call
sorry,
myself
Reno.
in English. Yeah, no, my name is Rhino, but I
Okay,
like Rhino. I just like the sound of it better. And also, the rhino is also my spirit animal. So like, it's an endangered species. It's a vegan species, and it's a very peaceful species. And I also hope that we can all make sure that there will be rhinos in the future.
for sure.
I think that's very important. And yeah, EMF sensitivity. So that's a very wide topic, but yeah, I can tell a bit my own story. So
Yeah.
it was in 2016 that I first got into contact with this topic. So before that, I never heard of it. Well, I heard of it occasion. There was an occasion where I heard of it. I ignored it. I didn't thought it would be harmful or anything. But yeah, I was in a convention about health, and I met a company, and yeah, they did this EMF prevention. And at the time, I had skin problems. So my skin was damaged, and I'm thinking, how is this possible? What can I do? So there was a few things that I tried. I was a smoker, a cigarette smoker. I quit cigarette smoking. I did some things to improve my water quality. I bought an air filter. I'm very happy that I did that. I can tell you that honestly, that I prefer to do the air cleaning natural way with plants. But if you look what's being spraying in the air right now, and you can have all kind of conspiracy theories about this, but just look at it logically, like the fuels, and also environmental toxins from building materials and everything. My air filter is on right now as we speak, by the way, because I'm hearing it.
What
And
kind
it
of air
just
filter do
turned
you
down
have?
now. I got a Winox air filter. It's with the HEPA filter, and it also has activated charcoal, and
Okay.
it has a ionizer in it. But really, honestly, like I bought it a while ago when I could afford it, and now I'm a bit less on the budget, and I'm also looking for more natural ways. If I had them to do it again, I would spend that money. It was around 300 bucks. I would spend it on plants.
Wow.
But with plants, you have to give them water, and if you're not always there, that's a bit the problem.
Okay.
And well, we can go, but I thought that we were going to do an interview on EMF, so I'll just go back to that
Oh yeah,
topic.
it's all relevant. All relevant. Yes.
Yeah, we can do it in maybe another time, but
Yeah.
I want to go back to the EMF
Yeah. For
story.
sure. For sure.
So yeah, I decided to let a company come to my house and to do a measurement. And I was a student at the time, and because of that, I got a discount. So it was either I paid for a consult or I paid for the product, but I didn't have to do both. And the consult is pretty pricey, around 200 bucks, and the products were around 800. But the consult was in my house, and I just got a new student scholarship, so I was in a position to afford it, and I paid $800 well, it found out my house was very bad. I was in my office, and I had my router on my desk within 1 meter, which means the EMF exposure was very, very high. And yeah, anyway, there was a lot of things that was bad in my house. And I paid 800 euros for this product that creates Schumann resonance. So the Schumann resonance is around 8 hertz, and it sets to neutralize the other EMFs. And I felt a lot of improvement after that in my life. So I felt my life improving. My skin problems went away, and I became more vital. But in the end, it's hard to tell what caused it, because I was doing other things like diet, and I started with yoga, and there were multiple things. But I became enthusiastic, but the problem for me was, like, how do I explain this to my friends and my family? Like, for example, my parents or my brothers, and how do I explain them that I spent 800 bucks, which is 6 months in college? I mean, the tuition fee is 900 for one semester, and I spent it on this thing, and you cannot even see it or smell it. So that was for me a trigger to really dive deep into this topic. And I was in the university, and I failed I failed my course
Mm-hmm.
in mathematics. So I got all the courses, but not mathematics. And also, I will say it straightforward, you know, the way they teach it is a straight bullshit. I had to learn 20 formulas out of my head. And in this modern time, this is not something that we should be doing and the way we should be learning. You know, I'm not against mathematics, but I want to have it practical. And I don't want to be like A, B, C, you know, like a little boy. And no,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be mature. And I didn't see the purpose. Um,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
And then
So
you ended up working for the communication company, right? You want to talk about that?
that was before. That was
Oh,
before. But
okay.
if you want, I prepared it a bit and I made a small presentation. It's just around 10 slides. I can show it to you.
Oh yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, so I can share my screen. And it has to be this one. Now you see yourself, but I'll get you out of here. And here is the presentation. So slideshow from beginning. Yeah, let's start.
All right.
So my company name is called Low EMF Life. And that's because I focus on three things. Most important is the house, because we all need to sleep. And most people sleep around 8 hours in a night. But also the office, most people spend 8 hours a day there also. And then there's other things like in the car and traveling on vacation. But I focus on both. And also I'm very much inspired myself by great scientists. And one of my favorite ones is Nikola Tesla. But also I enjoy Albert Einstein and Newton and all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So this was me in 2012. I was just graduated. I have an engineer degree in real estate. And this was one of the projects I was working on, but there was a financial recession. This is Michael Browngard, by the way. You should look him up on Google. He's a very sustainable guy. But yeah, I found out later that, you know, we were the pioneers in the field of sustainability, and there was a financial recession after 2008 with the Twin Towers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard for me to find a job. Also because, I will come back to that in the next slide, because we're living in a matrix system. So I was a single parent and I didn't want to work full time. And there was only this option to go in the matrix and go work full time, you know, and I didn't want that. And what happened is, like, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to work for myself. And I said, I'm going to do something. I want to have my grandchildren to be proud of me. And I was always active with things like CO2 reduction. And I've always been an environmentalist myself. So I worked with the solar company. I did a project in wind energy, but I didn't get my company financially feasible, which was a bit challenging. And so I decided to get a job. And that was, I just put my resume on the internet. So it's not even me found the job. I say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get I'll let the job find me, you know. But I found out later that, you know, what's also was, it was not only for myself, but it was for my ex-girlfriend at the time. She said, yeah, quit your company, you know, and go be a normal person with a job. And what I found later, you know, it's not only this job didn't last, but that relationship didn't last either. And it's what I want to tell all the viewers is always follow your heart and follow your passion. Because I didn't end up being very happy in this job, because I ended up with a telephone company. But I want to tell a bit about the toxic culture that's there. And this will give people a better understanding now also with this 5G thing going on. Because what I found out, that the company I was working for, the shares were going down in the market. So the shares were going down and people were under pressure. But what happened, you know, the people, the older people, they have the steady contracts and they are expensive to fire. You have to pay them 50,000 if you fire them. But what ended up happening is there was a culture that was like friend politics, you know. So you have to be friends with everybody. But there was also people, co-workers, bullying each other, because there will have to be people fired. So, and they knew that nobody wanted to be fired, and the manager. So what happened is they start bullying each other. So I had a co-worker, and you live in, I'm not very familiar with geography in US, but you live in LA, right?
I live in Sacramento, California.
Yeah, but just imagine that, for example, you are my employee and I say, you know what, I'm going to send you to work 100 kilometers from your house.
Wow.
And you have a family and a wife. And my coworker, it happened to him, and I feel very sorry for him. But you know what happened? He ended up in a divorce. You
Wow.
know, but because he had to do in the car, and he had a contract, and he was afraid to get fired. But what I want to say to my viewers is, we should not be living in fear. And this happened in this telephone company also. Like the people, they were friends with each other, and what happened was somebody was without work. And how can you explain this to your manager? So the people kept each other busy. So it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to send you today 50 kilometers in the car, 100 kilometers in the car for just one customer, while there's another one engineer living in that town itself. And this company was not sustainable. I will not say names out of respect, but I just want to share to people that it was very toxic. What also happened for myself was I kind of automated my own job. So I don't know if you know maybe about Tim Ferriss.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I implemented a bit his strategies, and I was able to do my work in 20 hours, and my coworker did it in 60 hours. But I got fired, and he got his contract renewed. But this has nothing to do with the skills. And but what bothers me a lot is that this 9-to-5 culture, it didn't work. So for me, after around 6 months, when the project was finished, I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to do a master. I'm fed up with this corporate culture. This is not for me. So I'll go to the next slide now. This is the university that I'm studying myself. And like I was with this EMFs, I became busy with it after I got in contact with a YouTuber called EMF Safety Zone. And we started chatting about this topic. And he said to me, Rhino, you know what you need to do? You need to get a meter. The only way to protect yourself is to get a meter, because you shouldn't be spending time where the EMFs is very high. But here you will see in my own university where they study, the EMFs are very high. And I am a bit ashamed even myself, like they have a lot of marketing going on here. They say the slogan where innovation starts. But what I find is that the culture in the university is a bit like the corporate world. It's all about numbers, You either have to be a master working 40, 60 hours a week, or a PhD working 40, 60 hours a week, but nobody looks at effectiveness. So people write all kind of papers, but nobody reads them. But in the meantime, I am making YouTube videos myself, and I get no recognition. But why should I do all this effort? And that is what I want to show people, that the problem is not only in the corporate world, but also in the universities. And you wouldn't believe if I would tell you how many people I talk to and say, hey, so why are we doing this? And even they have this new building here, and they say it's the most green, one of the greenest building of the country. When I did my measurement there, I didn't ask the permission, by the way, but I'm a student, so I'm allowed to do that. And I found out, well, this is maybe a bit over exaggerated, but they completely ignored this, And what really bothers me also is that, the current system, it does not value entrepreneurs like you and me. Entrepreneurs and content creators, we don't get enough respect, because if I would do the master, or I work for the company as a slave, in the matrix again, maybe they would work with me. But I think that's really a problem also. That's what I made the slide here, like the university nowadays, I'm not saying it's bad, but I learned 10 times more on the internet than I did in the university.
True, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just what I really wanted to emphasize also in this conversation with you, because I saw your channel as well. You're somebody also who likes to speak the truth. So I respect it, and I said, I'm gonna do that as well. So
yeah, that's good. That's good, man.
Yeah. So now I want to go to the next topic, because you wanted to talk to me about 5G. But I have been studying this topic since 2017. So in 2016 I got interested, and it started. But 2017, by that time I bought a meter, another meter here, another meter here, every month a little bit, and I said I want to earn it back. So I started my company, and then I already found out 4G is already toxic. And there's a lot of people saying no, it's not, it's not, it's not. But if you look these people up on YouTube or just Google their names, you will find out that 4G is already toxic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
do you think that a lot of the diseases that we've been tolerating in the last 10 to 15 years can be due to 4G, and we've just haven't been looking in that direction, like skin issues and certain things that are on the rise? Do you think that any of them can be like attributed to 4G?
Well, maybe, I don't know, but you know what's the thing is, like, we have to look at EMF cumulative exposure, because there's microwaves, but there's also electric fields coming from electric cables. There's dirty electricity, and it's cumulative. So just like when you went to school, you got a report card, right? So you got we do from 1 to 10 in Europe, but you got an 8 for English, and a 6 for math, and a 5 for French, and maybe a 7 for Spanish, you know. But like that, you can make a scorecard for your EMF exposure, and also other environmental toxic exposures. Plus, we can look at other toxic things. And also we can look at the immune system, like how healthy is somebody. So all of these things have to be a piece in the puzzle, but the 4G is definitely one of them. But if you're really interested, I recommend you to Google Sam Milham. And if you read his book, Dirty Electricity, and I think everybody that's interested in green energy and in the energy transition that we are in now should be mandatory book to read his book. And he says it's not only the microwaves, it's already the electricity exposure that's carcinogenic and leads to degenerative diseases, for example, autism. But okay, now I want to go to the slide here about 5G. So in this picture on the left, it's just to educate your viewers. Here you see an old antenna, and here you see a new one. So how do you know which one is 5G? I don't know either, because there are no meters that measure 5G, and if they are, they're too expensive. But we look here, this is very white, and this one is more yellowish from the air pollution and everything. So that's a great way. And for me, the reason why I am against 5G is because I went on Instagram and I searched for pictures like this. Well, I didn't search for I searched for hashtag stop 5G. And when I found out, I found a picture like this. And I said to myself, hey, if little children are affected by it, then we should not do this, you know? And that's the thing, like an adult can handle the radiation much better. They have thicker bones and thicker skulls. But children, or like insects, like bees, you know how how dependent it is on the bee population. It's very dependent. Yeah, and that's what for me, look, it's like, I always compare this EMF thing with air pollution. So when you imagine you live close to a road and in 10 years you'll get asthma, and people say it's acceptable. But if in 1 year you get lung cancer, it would not be acceptable, like what happened with asbestos. And it's the same now with this EMF. So yeah, maybe with 4G and you live there for a couple of years, you can probably get cancer. If you look at the movie Resonance Beings with Frequency, they describe that. But with 5G, I expect it would be also, if we would compare it to air pollution, would be like living next to a road, you know? And the problem here, the whole thing, is the whole card game, politicians, but everybody, like if you write your local government, your politician, they will write theirs, and it all end up referring to this ICNIRP. But the way it should be is that they should be referring to the Bioinitiative report. People can Google that, bioinitiative.org, and also 5G appeal, you know? Yeah. And what bothers me a lot, like I've talked to a lot of people about this, but most people follow the mainstream media. But I found out when you do your own independent research on, for example, YouTube or on the Instagram, then how can you, if you see something like this, bees dropping dead, you know, then for me, I say, no, we must not do it. And also it's because there's a lot of alternatives. So remind me that I come back to that later. But there are a lot of alternatives, so we don't need to do this, you know? It's not like we need to do it.
Yeah, man. So talk about what happened, like when you got your EMF sensitivity. Talk about the symptoms you had, and then how you got over it, like some things you can throw out there if people are experiencing this themselves.
Yeah, okay, yeah, great. I wanted to do it in the end, but I can do it now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was buying this meter, this EMF meter, and I was searching for it on the internet, and there was a woman who sold it, but she didn't have a web shop, so I didn't trust it. And I went to her, and this woman was a therapist also, and she did something called bioresonance. and she did a bioresonance with me, and she found out I had heavy metal toxicity. So that came out as a diagnosis. And personally, I really believe in both that therapy as a diagnostic, but also as a healing, because I had several sessions. Yeah, so I found out, okay, I'm toxic. And deep down, to be really honest, I knew it already. Like how I've been living in the last years, I knew already that there were some changes needed to be made. So I went to search on the internet for detox, and also I met a person online who was giving a retreat, detox retreat, and I did their detox retreat. We did the liver gallbladder flush, and yeah, it really was life changing. And then the whole ball game started rolling, and at that time they were promoting paleo diet, but for their detox they say, okay, you know what, prepare it to go vegetarian. But I started searching online for this word detox, and then I came across a YouTube channel from the Life Regenerator, Dan McDonald, and he explained how to do detoxing with juices. And I found other people like Ralph Smart from the Infinite Waters, and he was promoting a vegan diet. And I heard him in one video, I heard him talk about Dr. Sabai and about how we are electric beings. And I was studying this topic, but I see a lot of similarities with this raw foods and electric foods, because in the end, we are all electric beings. Humans have also magnetic fields, you know? When you and me talking, this is also vibrations. So yeah, and I went, but basically my whole story is like, I just dove deeper and deeper in it. So I went from vegetarian to vegan to raw vegan and even fruitarian. And after that, I came into the stages of water and dry fasting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. That's I think that's key there, is that when you got diagnosed with EMF sensitivity, it was found to be heavy metal toxicity. That falls right in line with everything we're saying.
Well, I have met a lot of people who have EMF sensitivity. There's also meetup groups for them and stuff. And I think that a lot of them have this heavy metal toxicity. But I think in the end, we're all sensitive beings. And nobody can escape this this air pollution, because it's everywhere.
Yes.
And I think it has to do with other things, but I think the heavy metal toxicity is key of it. And what I want to recommend the viewers, especially if they have it, is to do fasting. Because I have tried all the different diets, you know, and I have found myself now a diet that I think for me at this current time and place works for me, which is the plant-based diet with a high percentage in raw foods. But it doesn't matter which diet you're on. If you incorporate fasting, the body will heal itself and it will upgrade itself. And like, what can we do? Yeah, so 5G protection. Yeah, here there are some things that you can do, which have some.
Oh yeah, go over all of these items right here on this slide. I think that's important.
Yeah, that's important. Very important. Like for me, grounded sleep, it helped me also a lot. Although I think that grounding is better to do it outside in the garden than do it on the electrical socket. But this is a whole different topic. Like, but in general, I think your earthing is very good for you and essential. But plants also have an electric field. And make sure you have good quality water, and baking soda alkalized. But I think.
Oh, let's talk about the MG bicarbonate. How does that work? Do you just buy the powder and then mix it with water?
I don't know. This is just a slide I got from the internet. So I don't know about that. You know, I know that organoids work. And I have an organoid myself. I can show it to you, but I'll do it after the presentation.
Okay.
And here I want to say, when you talk to politicians and friends and family, please refer them to, I think it's safeg.net, but just search for SafeG, because this is an alternative for 5G. And what I found out over the years, like I started my company with this, and I talk to people, but I feel a lot of time like a dentist. And when a dentist sees you have a hole in the teeth, it's never fun to hear it, but you need to tell it. And that's how I felt also, like you don't see the dentist for fun. And this is the same thing with this EMF protection. You don't do it, it's fun, but you do it because it's important. Yeah. So what can you do? Yeah, we just discussed it, but you know, fasting. And I want to say also like this, if you just have the mentality to improve 1% per day, you know, or like I say to customers who don't have a lot of money, put a little bit of money aside every month to do these kind of things. In 1 year, you can achieve a lot, you know. So just look at it step by step, because I also did this, and now I am doing it on a budget. So yeah, this is the end note, and yeah, here I just can show you, because I needed to visualize it, because most people don't see it or smell it or anything. But
Right.
like, we want to live in a space with harmony, you know, with harmony. And this is what a lot of people are in. And you see that also in their behavior. They're agitated, they're irritated, you know.
Yes.
How is this possible? But this is because they're in this artificial frequencies. And this blocks you from your own frequency. I notice myself when I meditate that I feel a lot better when I am in nature, you know, and when I am in the building, or like, for example, a central station. How many EMFs do you think are there? Try meditating there, you know. And this is not only the people, but it's just all these frequencies. And like here, we are electromagnetic beings, and we are beings of light. It's like they say in yoga, namaste, but it means you are a light being, you know. And that's why it's important to be aware of our electromagnetical environment. So I say we need a clean electrical environment.
Awesome. That's good. That's
yeah.
good. Yes. Lowemflife.com. All right.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Good.
Yeah. So.
I had a question off of Instagram.
Yes.
Someone was saying that well, there's this website right now where you could check where there's 5G towers, and luckily when I went to my area, and I don't know how accurate this website is, but when I went to my area, I didn't see that many. But there's one city that had a lot. I think it was Portland, Oregon. Somebody that lived in Portland, Oregon, got back to me, and they were talking about nosebleeds. There's something with their child experiencing nosebleeds out of nowhere. And is nosebleeds possibly a symptom of EMF sensitivity, or have you heard that?
I think so. I heard there was also a concert in England where a lot of people got nosebleeds.
Yeah,
and they had
I kind of heard through the internet that too.
I don't know that either, but you know, I think that we are going into a very difficult time, and I believe that, you know, it's not really fair, because, you know, I am a bit a scientist, a bit, you know. I'm also a bit entrepreneur, and I don't like sometimes to be too much about all the dots and all the details.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Charles Darwin says, "It's the survival of the fittest is the one that's best able to adapt." But we live in a world now, and I don't like this to be the truth, but sometimes it's also survival of the richest, because I just recommend everybody to do what they can regarding this EMF things. Mm-hmm. So I want to share now a bit what I'm doing myself, you know.
Right.
And for example, I just bought this hat, you know. And it literally is a tinfoil hat. It's not made from tinfoil.
Oh, you got to send me the link to that.
It's protecting me. We'll put the link under the video.
Okay.
But this is protecting me, and I'm very happy that I have it, and especially because the head is the most important part to protect, because here starts all the signals that's going toward the rest of the body. Also, what I have these things, blue light blocking glasses. Mm-hmm. At nighttime, it's very important to use them, because the blue light disturbs the production of the melatonin. Mm-hmm. And you will think that it's day, and it will affect your sleep. And when you don't sleep well, you don't regenerate well, and you'll get chronic fatigue, and then you'll get all kind of other illnesses.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. And this is another one I have. It's more dark, but I like the yellow one better personally. But I have this one. What I want to share also is, look, why don't we need 5G? Look, I have here something, I don't know how to say this in English, but it's like a connection kit. Mm-hmm. And I just have an Ethernet cable, and my phone is in airplane modus, but I can show you that it works. So, for example, I can open now YouTube, and we see that it works. So I'm just gonna play you a song to show it to you.
Handelen is niet voor iedereen.
Alright, this comes an advertisement, but it works. I also have this for iPad, by the way. So I have here also. Yeah, it's hard to show it a bit now, but there's a thing for iPad and iPhone. So we don't need it. Like, I'm in my own house now. I don't need any wireless signals around me. you can still reach me. I still have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the things. So we have the benefits of the modern technology. You can call me, you can app me, we can do this video things. We can do so many things, and we don't need the 5G. You know, fiber optics is great, and yeah, maybe outside, of course, we want to be able. When you, we have a lot of cyclists in Netherlands. When you have a flat tire, you want to be able to call somebody, hey, pick me up. Or you want to be able to call the police, or in the case of an emergency, or the fireman, or whoever, the hospital, whoever. You know, so it's good to have phones. But did you know that in countries like Russia and Italy, you know, the limits are 100 times lower, you know, for the 4G, 100 times. And we can do with what we're doing now is we're overdoing it, you know. It's like we say, hey, you know, we need to communicate, and we can do it with a Fiat, but we're using Ferrari everywhere. Boom, 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 boom. And this is not a good thing. Yeah, here's another thing that I use. I use this dirty electricity filters, but yeah, this is against dirty electricity, and this is already a problem. But I recommend people to read the book. I have also made a book summary. It's on my YouTube channel, so this is just 5 minutes if you don't want to take the time. And use crystals.
Crystals.
Yeah, there's also a documentary about crystals. It's 1 hour and a half, but you must see that documentary. You know, if you see that, these things give off energy fields. You know, and like I'm shielding my own house now, and I noticed they did something before, but now that I'm shielding, I really feel more in tune with my own energy, but I feel the energy of the... What?
How are you shielding your house?
Yeah, well, you know, to be really honest, I don't like to admit it, because really, sometimes people see me with as a tinfoil hat.
No. My audience is looking, is all into that, man. So.
Yeah, no, but I made this, and I want to show you, like, this is just a piece of carton, and here you can put aluminium foil, but if this is your wall, you can just put aluminium foil, and you can block or you can reflect the signal. But beware, it's best to ground it, because when you ground it, it absorbs the signal, and when you don't, it reflects, and it only reflects, and it can also act a bit like. And then I started with this, but now I'm using paint. This is yeah, it's some kind of it's some kind of special paint, and yeah, if the people can support me, you know, the links are here.
Oh yeah, we want the link.
Buy more paint, you know.
Yeah, link us to that paint, and yeah.
Oh wait, I mean I can share the presentation again, but it's not necessarily needed right now. But yeah, there's paint, but yeah, you must have that money. Not everybody has it. And what I recommend, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I recommend people, like what I make with this plate here, is you can try it. It's very cheap. You can make it in a few hours, and you can just, like Legos, put them, and you can feel. So you can try, hey, does it work or does it not work? And this is a great way to feel, hey, do I feel better with this EMF reduction? If you don't have the money, and then if you feel better, you can always make a decision, hey, I want to live here more long term. And yeah, so you can say, I want to live here more long term, and now I'm going to invest in these kind of things. This is my orgonite I have. So, but there's a lot of them. Here's another one. But I think that it's also important for people to keep in mind, like with energy saving, we have something called trias energetic, and also trias magnetic. Like the most important thing is to reduce your exposure. Don't use your phone all the time. Put your phone in airplane mode. You know, put your Wi-Fi off, especially at night. All these things, like reduce your exposure. Then when you reduce your exposure, you'll neutralize. So you can use these crystals, or like this device I bought for $500, which you can neutralize. But I wouldn't start with neutralizing. And then is the more of other things is like changing the health, you know. And I say, you know, go on whatever diet you want, but incorporate fasting into your life.
Good. That's good. That's important.
Yeah. I'm sorry I was ranting so much.
No worries, man. No worries. So I wanted to ask, do you sell that paint?
Well, I have an affiliate link on my website, but it's for people in EU, you know. Like for me, what my mission is, and what's my mission is to escape the matrix. And how I did that is I made an ebook how people can do it themselves at their own house. And I'm making another ebook now. It's not finished yet, in the office. you know. And
Okay.
what I want to escape the business model of like, hey, I get paid per hour, so I get work 40 hours and I get this much. No, I think, hey, I want to get paid for the results. So what I want is people, they can do it themselves. They save a lot because an EMF consultant is very expensive to get them
Okay,
in
got
your
it.
house.
So anybody that wants to protect their home, they can consult you.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
yes, of course.
I'll definitely
Yeah,
send people in your direction for that.
yeah.
'Cause I have people that
Thank
they
you.
can't move or any, they can't exactly move, you know. So what else can they
Yeah,
do? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And they also wanted to talk about juice fasting because I just did
Yeah,
the
I
juice
mean,
fast.
yeah. So talk about how did you get you? Well, we talked about how you got to juice fasting. Talk about like how hard it was and the results that you got.
Yeah, well, I have before and after on my Instagram. My Instagram is Rhino, the one and only.
Right on.
But we can put it under the video.
Yep, that will be.
Um, yeah, yeah. So I got into juice fasting with this DTM guy, and then I went into the whole raw foods thing and fruitarian thing. But I went back to cooked food. But I found out that it's not that bad as long as you are a regular faster. So I worked with a personal trainer, and he gave me consultation, and he said, you know, try 24 hours a week fasting, and I feel amazing. And I said, okay, I'm now on raw food, but sometimes I cheat, so I eat a cookie and it has milk or butter, and I say, I just for this one time I want to live, you know. I don't want. And also I think raw foods is great, but there's too much polarizing in raw food. Like if you take a cooked potato, you're evil, or like
Yeah.
if you eat a piece of meat, you know, like I still my personal perspective is we should not eat meat or eat very little, but as little as possible, and have alternatives. But what I found out, like if I'm consulting people also regarding raw foods and detoxification, but
Hmm.
it's a process, you know, it's a process. So every time you have to eliminate, and the process never goes like this. It always is a curve. And even myself, I've been through that curve. But anyway, so yeah, I did a three-day juice fast around a year ago. It was not my best experience because I feel really, really good on water fasting. You know, I tried dry fasting, but it's so difficult because
Hmm.
normal people are used to eating 3 times a day, 6 times a day. Or I remember when I was a cigarette smoker, I smoked 10 cigarettes a day, and all this breaks. And with dry fasting, you have nothing besides meditation and being
Yeah.
in nature.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like about dry fasting, although it is the highest form of healing if you're experienced with it, you know.
I
But
feel the
uh,
same way.
but with water fasting, you can have tea. And how many flavors of tea are there? There's tons of flavors of tea. Yeah, so you have all the flavors. There's tons of flavors of water. And in a 3-day water fast, you reset your whole immune system. So I did that a couple of times. And every time I feel stronger and stronger and younger and younger.
Mm.
Uh, anyway, but no, I found some people who were doing an online program, and I decided to join. But I want to do a longer water fast. So if people want to donate, then I can go to some professional thing or like a retreat or something.
Yeah.
But my goal is to do a longer water fast because I done extensive research about water fasting. And if you go 9 days or 21 days, or you know, you because I found out the first few times I fasted, I healed some things. Like I healed my skin, I healed my back problems, I healed my kidneys. Now with the latest fast, I feel my colon has had a lot of healing. But you know, it's a very long process. But I don't want to go too long while I'm at home.
Hmm.
But instead of doing a long water fast, which is my goal, I'm training. Just like with football, you can train for a match and you do training. I'm training for a fast. So I say, hey, now I can do 9 days on juice, and hopefully in the future I can do 9 days on water. You know,
Hmm.
and I did a juice fast, and yeah, I decided to do a combination of the master fast system and normal juice fast.
Hmm.
Reason I choose this combination is was based on my feeling. You know, always follow your instincts and your gut. It's very important. You know, we're all different, and we all need to listen to our feelings. Although we shouldn't let them control us too much. But
Hmm.
you know, follow your heart. You know,
Hmm.
because the gut has parasites. So you can say follow your gut. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes not. Because I did this combination of grape juice, so I drink it in the morning and in the afternoon. But then I made the grape juice was not organic, probably, I am not sure, because there's no transparency in the food chain. Probably it was with seedless grapes, but this was the budget grape juice. And it's used to flush out these toxins. And then I took the clay also in the morning, so the pudding, as they call it. So I took that, and then afterward, I drank a green juice to alkalize, or a coconut water to get some energy. And like with water fasting, you can take this broth, so it's like a soup, vegetable broth. You can take like a soup, and you can make a tea, and you can have some variation, and that's how I got through the day. I was also a few days, I took some smoothies, because I had cravings and stuff. And then the smoothie is still, you're still a liquidarian when you take a smoothie, although they can be very dense. But no, I released a lot of the mucoid plaque. I'm not, I am proud of it, and I'm not proud of it, but it's like, in the end, other people have to learn, and we should move forward as a species. That's why I'm sharing it, and I shared it on my YouTube channel. But I released a lot of mucoid plaque, and what I feel now, like before, I had this cravings. So I had a craving like, oh, I eat fish, because for me, the only thing of the animal products that resonates with me is wild fish. I don't want anything to do with anything that has been butchered, bullied, genetically engineered, or and like milk, we're not babies, so but I don't want to have anything to do with it. But and I was in the past already a pescatarian, like I eat only fish, because it lives in the wild. But I feel now, like when you come into the higher levels, and also when you incorporate the more meditation, your need for food will be less and less and less. But now, after I did this cleanse, all this cravings is gone, and I feel really that there's a truth to what they say about this mucoid plaque, and that there's bacteria and parasites and viruses and everything living there, because, and if I saw what came out of it, it's not only what I saw, it's how I felt, how I felt. And what I want to incorporate the viewers, like I say, I want to say, hey, do regular fasting, but also with the diets. I see there's so much hate on the YouTube and on other platforms, like, oh, you're a meat eater. But the best thing what we can do is be the example and speak from experience, but also don't judge about something you don't know. Like for me, for example, I never tried the carnivore diet. So how can I know so well that it's bad for people?
Yeah.
It's better for me to say, hey, this resonates with me.
Oh yeah, so I actually live with someone who's on the carnivore diet. Has been pretty committed to it, and so there's just this other side of veganism, and he has me reading the book, so I'm reading all about the carnivore diet. But this isn't just the carnivore diet. This guy who's getting popularized for that, he actually promotes raw everything. He talks about raw meat in conjunction with raw milk, eggs, raw fruit, raw fruits and vegetables, and he talks about the primal diet, which actually just doesn't cook anything, and it's all raw. And so as somebody who kind of fell for the vegan movement when it first came out, why didn't they tell us first that there's a healthy way to eat meat, and that non-cooked meat is a lot different than cooked meat? I would have liked to know that for my transition, right? So, because when I'm giving up meat, if you tell me that, oh, there's this raw meat and it's actually alkalizing, and it's going to get you on your way to raw foods, and then you can give up meat from there. Oh, that would help a lot of people bridge the gap. It's like, well, you don't have to give up meat, stop cooking it.
Well, I feel like for now I really don't want to go too much into this diet.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, what I found out is what worked for me, and like I have been periods as a fruitarian, and I think fruitarian is a great lifestyle. I'm just like, for me, but I'm 2 or 3 years now on this lifestyle, but if I'm not the expert, the experts is the people that is 10 years on this lifestyle. For me, I haven't found a way for me to make it sustainable myself, because for me, for example, I found out in raw foods there's things that don't work for me, like dehydrated foods. Dehydrated foods dehydrate you, and like that's what I think, that the whole black and white thing. And like I love spelt sourdough bread, and yes, maybe grains is a bit acidifying, but this probiotic culture pre-ferments it and everything, and I feel fantastic on it, and it has a lot of protein and everything. But what I think with the diets, like all the things have a core of truth in it, and if I look at it overall, what they all have in common is they practice fasting or intermittent fasting. But what I also want to say to people is that if they're gonna incorporate fasting, that they at least should be reading Arnold Ehret, his book, because I'm afraid they're just going to break the fast in the wrong way. So what they do after that, what kind of diet they want to do with or without meat or vegetarian, it's up to them, you know. But I still believe like we should all do this 3-day fast regularly now in this modern times with the toxins everywhere. But we do this 3-day fast and we regenerate our whole immune system, you know. And that's very important now, especially in this Corona time, you know. This is very important to do this.
Yeah, 3-day it's kind of like one of the most powerful tools, defenses we have, fasting.
Yeah, and then break it with fruit and juices. And what you do after that, you know, if you want to, you know, I because I don't want to be the hater, you know. I want to say live and let live. Live by example. What I noticed with my high fruit diet, you know, and very high in fruit is very high energy, you know, and I feel very high in hydration also. Like it's so hydrating. I'm not thirsty, and I can go longer periods dry. So but like all the things have the pros and the cons. But I think in the end, it's up to you. But what I also think is that we are conscious beings. So you know, the placebo effect is like if you believe in something, it works. And I see this is also happening with different diets. You know, because I try to coach people and they don't believe in it, and they're going to give up in 1 week. You know. Because they don't believe in it.
Or their motivation is external. If you're trying to do it because you saw somebody else that has a 6-pack and you think that eating more fruit is going to get you a 6-pack, but you don't really believe it's sustaining you. Like you think that, well, I'm just going to eat this fruit, but I still need the protein if I want to get a 6-pack. If you don't believe that the fruit will do it for you, you're going to slow your progress down. So that's very important.
Yes, it's very important. But you know, also like I like to refer to Charles Darwin, you know, it's the survival of the fittest is the one that's best able to adapt. And we are able to adapt, you know, because I hear there's even people that can live off prana, you know, and like this is also just evolution. Like people are evolving every time, you know, and this is also having to do with consciousness. So as species, we are evolving constantly.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I think like adaptation. Yeah. I think a fruitarian diet, maybe in the tropics, but where I'm living in the Netherlands, is not normal because if I go outside now to the forest, I cannot find any fruit, you know. And if I find berries, it will take me.
It's also very hard to stay raw when it's cold. That's what I find.
Yeah.
Cold weather.
Yeah. So, but in the summertime, it's one of the most wonderful diets, you know.
Yeah.
But for me now in the wintertime, I would love to, but you know, like. And we're very blessed to live in this modern times where I can eat mangoes from Senegal, I can eat bananas from Colombia while I'm in the Netherlands, you know. But this is not the most natural. If I would be now going 200 years back in time, how would I be able to survive, you know? Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, I think that the best way is to listen to your body and listen how you feel, how you react, you know. Find out what works for you. And
Awesome. So can you just go over again your website and your email and or your Instagram account and all that?
Oh yes, of course.
I mean, we'll have it in the link. We'll have it in the description, but just go over it again.
Yeah. So my website is lowemflife.com. I also have a Facebook page called Low EMF Life. Yeah, and people can send me a message on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram also. Rhino, the one and only, but it's Rhino without the H, so RINO, and then the one and only.
All right, thank you, Mats. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk. Is there anything else we didn't talk about that you want to go into?
No, not really. Like maybe if you have questions, but I think if people have questions, post them in the comments. What I want to say as a last thing, like for content creators, what I started doing myself also, like I say, hey, if I like this video or it was valuable for me, share it, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment, you know. And that way we can help also if people don't have the money to do these things. The least they can do is leave a comment. So I want to encourage people to do that.
Awesome. Yeah. That's so good, man. Thank you so much, Rhino.
Yeah, thank you too.
I got a lot out of it. I got a lot out of it, and we'll have to do it again some other time, man.
Yeah, okay, man.
All right. Hey, best wishes. I'll let you go now. See ya, man.